Hello, this is Ross Weezo with my EDL 56 case study on parental apathy, viewing with our standard 4 of the ELSIC standards. The case study became very clear pretty quickly that what I do know is there was little previous connection to parents or involvement by parents in this community. In particular, there was no PTA, PTO, formal groups, and in fact, the creation of formal groups was a little bit frowned upon. There was a view that parents wanted no involvement in the school. In fact, with the principal stating that he thought it was best and for the school not to have that parental involvement. And it was showing communication to the parents was poor, not very aggressive, and honestly not handled very well just by only having a quick and trying to promote a meeting. The future meeting, there was a future meeting was set up after a few trials between these, and at this meeting it was very unsuccessful with only 8. What do I need to know? What I actually viewed as most important for me is understanding the demographic, location, culture, and the history of the school in particular. Is this how items were communicated in the past with students and parents, being only a quick announcement at the end of the day of school? Is there any other formal means of communication in place? Is there an email system set up, website, possibly phone call system to try to promote meetings such as this? With the weakness perceived with parental involvement, is there a strong parental involvement anywhere in the district with other programs, be it maybe band, athletics, arts, social clubs, etc.? And if so, how has the success of those programs and parental involvement been accomplished? And is the past able to be the past? It shows in this reading that the principal has a little bit of negativity towards their parental involvement. And with the help of me as a new assistant principal, can we get this principal to possibly move on to whatever some negative past had occurred? Looking at the problem identification portion of this, it shows that the current principal has lost sight of the positives that parental involvement can have on the school. Possibly that's a need of me as a new assistant principal to shed that light and possibly take that task on. Seeing that the best methods of communication have not been used in contacting or promoting parental involvement or setting up these such meetings. And the other problem is just showing that the school is distant from the community and the parents with no formal connection by the statement of the principal asking that, yeah, we have a meeting, but let's just make sure this meeting is not of a formal nature in regards to setting up a PTA or possibly a PTO. Proposed plan of action would be, for me in this case, would be to begin the process of gaining the principal's trust while also showing the need of parental involvement, showing that for the future and the survival of our school, the connection between the community, the parent, and the school is vital in getting information to them so they have questions answered before they begin to ask them. The other would be, in this case, the principal wanted to cancel the meeting, even though there's only 8 parents. My action would be to continue this parent meeting so we could gather information, whether it be little or a lot, learn from them why there was so little involvement. And also, on my end, it works hard to set a positive first impression. If I make a positive first impression on these 8 people, those lines of communications for them will go to the other people that they know, and possibly the next meeting we gather more involvement and begin to promote this. Third would be become more visible in the halls and community and garden relationships. I think over time, as I read this and did this case study, more and more of my thoughts and views began to understand the visibility that myself and administration and teachers need to have. And then also working on improving the lines of communication through visibility or some of our protocols and so forth. The strategies of these 4. First strategy in regards to the principal relationship would be to try to set up a formal meeting to discuss his goals and also the district goals for parental involvement. For me, being the new administrator, this would be vital for me to find out maybe possibly where my place is. Also to take on some responsibilities from the principal, which I would hope would be well received. Also gauge his interest. Maybe he has not attacked this because that's not his strength or anything like that, but hopefully I can view this as my strength to take on this task. And then last, develop his trust in allowing me to take on this task. In regards to the parental meeting, My strategy would be to, as I stated before, continue this meeting. While doing so, gather the input on the need requests of the school, set some norms and collaborative goals of what we do want to accomplish in this future, and maybe learn how, even if it is just these 8 people, how do they want to be involved? If all 8 people have complaints, let's listen to the complaints, and let's see why those are the complaints of the people, and how can we change this to maybe improve it, and then maybe see and find out how would they like to be communicated with in the future. What's the best means of getting information to them, and then also help to set the foundation of future involvement. And again, I kind of stated that by that positive first impression. If we can sell these 8 in any means, and they understand that we have an ear that they can bend and listen to, maybe we can get more future involvement. For me, I probably should have listed this first, but I view on this increase of visibility. That's one of the strategies that I would probably attack wholeheartedly more often, because it's a daily process. This would be garner relationships by being visible before, during, after school, by greeting, communicating with parents and students, being in the hallways, be there before, during class, after. This would increase verbal and face-to-face relationships. It would allow me to gather information and gather trust and develop these relationships, and also get a really good vibe of what the school, the community, and the parents in the area actually need. This would involve time on my end by being at activities, but I do view that administrators sometimes, we allow our inner duties during the day to possibly log you down in an office. And when the school and the students are in the hallways, the principal or anyone needs to be working hard to be out and be present to help make those connections, to create involvement. And that allows us to do that final one there of actually promotion. Looking at what is best for the students. Connection between staff, students, and parents. The separation of schools can become difficult. If the parents are just saying that it's the teachers or the educators' responsibility, or the vice versa. By connecting these 3 aspects, it increases a sense of community and connection. It easily opens up those lines of communication, which we obviously show we are weak on. This allows for all means to be on the same path and page without misunderstanding of facts or goals. Stating why are we doing things, what do we want to accomplish. That allows for questions, and when those questions sometimes can be spearheaded just by sharing, a lot of negativity can be digressed. Also, what's best for students is their parental involvement. It shows the connection, the schools and teachers to the home, and it allows the parents the chance to take on leadership roles. And we see a lot of times in schools and with students that parents are the educators, and educators sometimes can be the parents. So increasing those 3 aspects right there would be the best for our students. Resolution to the problem. Some of my views of seeing what we need to do first would be to handle the current and delicate, unhealthy view of parental involvement by the principal. Not saying that we need to try to understand deeply what happened, why, or maybe it was a one case or long-term case. Maybe possibly this is just not a strength of his. Maybe he's not a vocal or person that likes to be viewed in the public. Maybe he's a private individual. Maybe that's a strength that I can take on. Create of the principal on how and why the need to increase. This is possibly me also being that new administrator, showing to him what I can provide to him as a team player for his school and his program. And then fixing the current system of communication. Why only 8 parents at this meeting? Obviously, why no PTA? Why was it not organized? Part of these would be, lack of communication, how it was presented to them. But I think also maybe trying to create the doors of our school are open. And then lastly, expressing the need of visibility, as I've kind of attacked a few times already. My feelings as I read this really is about removing the distance between the school and the parents and the community. There's a fear of developing trust and education with the principal and current staff and allowing this to change. So that's me as this new administrator. showing my teachers, showing my bosses, etc., that this is something that is passionate or something that I do want to attack. And using this increased visibility is going to allow this buy-in to develop, and also allow me to start to set my roots a little bit stronger into what my goals and what my job is at this building as an administrator. Application of standards. How did I accomplish? How do I accomplish these things? First off, I'm looking at collaborating with families and community members. I want to increase the opportunity for future school success. And by doing this, I will increase my visibility and communication to build relationships, mainly face-to-face. By doing that, by being visible, but being face-to-face then allows the phone, the email, or the other types of conversations to be easier to handle when it's not such a distance relationship. Also form the foundation for a structured and unstructured involvement. I think maybe the meeting was unwell received because maybe viewed that it was unstructured, or maybe because it hadn't had a previous involvement. Having structured organizations allow by these other opportunities when you are visible to have those unstructured communications. Sometimes it's what you're talked about with someone just in passing at a grocery store or things like that, that you are informed of a negative or a positive, and that can carry on. And sometimes that's more well received and easier received than it would be in a structured environment where people may not want to share. And then also working over time to increase school and community pride by showing and doing. Again, this ties into that visibility factor. How to respond to the diverse needs and interests. You're going to have to work hard to gather information at the initial meeting of the small group's views, positively and negative. By being visible, I was able to gather vital information on the heartbeat of the community and school. That also ties into those formal and informal meetings where you can really find out what is and what does or what does not need to attack or be done. And takes time and effort to see what can't, or should be attacked and improved or changed. Sometimes there are some cultures, or there are some traditions and things like that are deep rooted, and it's a very delicate issue. And a lot of times those deep rooted issues are community driven, and they are a big part of the town. And without being around and knowing and seeing those things, sometimes that's a dangerous area. Also, this allows us to gather verbal, written feedback through new communication lines and visibility, hoping to increase not just the way we communicate, through the student to the parent, but to the parent to the student, and again also the student to the parent. Mobilizing community resources. My hopes is by increasing these lines of communication and connection to all facets of the community, parents, businesses, churches, banks, all assets and all lines. The goals and dreams of the school can be seen and accomplished. Making that connection where the school is a vital part to everything around the area. And then also by being visible and present, the distance between the community and school can be shortened. And then understanding why there has been previous distances and how those can be changed. In reflection of this case study, I would full-heartedly see this as a great challenge for a new administrator, and it could be very interesting to see the turns and twists that would come over time, because this is definitely not something that can be changed overnight or quickly, but with when there's interest or shown by the individuals, by the school, the administrators, that they have an interest in it. I surely hope that parental involvement, when involved, would continue, leading to student involvement, etc., to turning this into a successful situation. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful day.